All right, what's up, guys? I'm gonna attempt to go live here and tell you a little bit about Airbnb. So, my name is Ryan. If you don't know, I am the co-owner of Jay Stays. We help people design awesome Airbnbs, and what we're really good at is decommoditizing them so they can make more money. And what that really means is a lot of Airbnbs feel the same, they look the same, they are the same. And so the only way you can compete is with price for most places. And what that really means is that everyone's just kind of racing to zero. So what I always tell people is we're not interior designers, we're revenue designers. And that is how we stack amenities, that is how the place looks, feels, the guest experience that it delivers. At Jay Stays, we've managed over 6,000 guest stays. We've done over $10 million in Airbnb. So we've seen a lot. We know why people book, we know what people are looking for, and we know what works. So today I'm going to find some places that are on the back of the list of Airbnb when you search and kind of go over why it's not working. If I do pick one of your places, feel free to reach out to us and we'll offer you a free strategy call where we kind of help you a little bit deeper. So I'm gonna just search some random places. I have nothing picked out already. We'll just kind of go from there and see what we find. I was gonna look at Scottsdale since we just finished a big project there. And obviously there is endless amounts of Airbnbs in Scottsdale. So I just searched the city, didn't put any other information in. What I'm going to do is go to the last page, try to see some that are on the last page. So there's a lot of reasons that Airbnb is pushing you to the back. It can be for the booking experience too, which a lot of people don't think about. It can be the way the place is reviewed. This place is getting good reviews. So they might have a strict, I have a 2-night minimum. Yeah, 2-night minimum. Maybe they have a strict, let's pick some dates. Doesn't want to load. Never seen it before. I don't know why it's not loading. They might have some strict cancellation policy. So the booking experience, what Airbnb is looking for, and something that everyone always needs to understand is that for Airbnb, Verbo, Booking.com, doesn't matter the channel. The host is not their client. We aren't their customer, and so the guest is. And so you have to view everything through the lens of the guest, meaning even the booking experience, your availability, how far out can you be booked, how many, what's your minimum night stay, and what your cancellation policy is. With all these things as the host, obviously, the more strict you can be, the more control you would have. But Airbnb doesn't like that because say you have a 30-day cancellation policy, which maybe they have something like that. That means that if a guest has something come up in their life within the 30 days, they cannot cancel. And that is going to leave a bad taste in their mouth about Airbnb. Not necessarily your property, not necessarily you, but about Airbnb for that guest. And that's not what Airbnb wants. So they're going to promote places that offer more flexible stay, better night minimum, and more availability. So hopefully it's a better choice for that guest as well. Obviously, then reviews are taken into consideration too. So all those things stack up. What I tell people is whatever obviously you're comfortable with, it's a risk reward situation. So if you have a 3 night minimum per se, you're going to get ideally a better guest, less parties, things like that. It's a more expensive stay, but you're going to get punished by having that 3 night minimum. So is it worth that difference? Obviously, the best scenario for Airbnb is to offer a 1 night minimum, which for us, for most places, unless it's a certain place that kind of competes with a hotel, but for most places, that isn't going to be worth the risk, right? That is asking for trouble. You're asking for a party. You're asking for a bad guest. And so you have to find that balance of risk reward. Just like we don't allow cancellations, all the way up to the day before. We do them, 5 days out, a week out. Will allow, but the day before isn't worth it to us either. Even if that would generate more revenue, you're talking about more problems, more of a hassle, all of those things. So with everything, it's a risk reward. Just a lot like this place doesn't allow any kind of parties or events. Um, you're cutting off a big section, especially people that go to Scottsdale, right? You don't want your place dominated by bachelor parties, birthday parties, and all that, but they can pay very well. So you want to find the respectful people within there. You want to have strict house rules, ideally, and that's going to be a good scenario usually all around. Um, First thing I'll say though is I can't see their. I don't know why it's not loading right now, so I can't. I think they have a strict cancellation policy, but that might be a reason that they're towards the back. It looks like a pretty overall good place, but some general marketing things that are hurting them. And what I'm going to talk about is really optimizing. So they might be doing great. Maybe they're making a ton of money. I don't know what their monthly mortgage is or how much money they need to make, but my goal is always just to make as much money as possible. So it's not, hey, you're making enough, you don't need to optimize. To me, I always want to make the most amount. I want to squeeze all the juice available in that listing. So titles. I don't mind private oasis. I don't know if private is necessary in there, but I always like a descriptor up front. Some kind of adjective, something about the place, luxury, oasis, or good ones, cozy, anything like that. You can switch around your title, ideally every 30 days, so don't get worried too much about it. Test things, try different ones out. The rest of this is not very helpful. So a lot of people will tell you about SEO in your title. I don't worry about that as much. I don't think that is doing as much as people talk about. What I want in here is quick hitters of amenities that are available. Someone clicked on my page. They saw one picture. I need quick hitters of what's available in the property. Walk to Old Town. Reasons I don't like this, unless you don't have any other amenities, and I don't want to talk about location. The reason being is everyone near this home, which I guarantee there's plenty, is also a walk to Old Town. So you have no differentiator up here at all. That is something that's available to everyone. And modern amenities doesn't tell me anything. I don't know what that means. Does that mean technology? Does that mean like what's a modern amenity here? So what I want in here is I can tell right away they have a pool, they have a fire pit. At least those two things should be listed up here, and we'll click through the photos and see what else. Also, I don't like the first picture being an outdoor picture. I do like twilight shots. I think they're great, but unless this place didn't have a pool, didn't have anything else going on, this isn't the first photo I want to use. You get one photo. This photo is doing about 80% of the lifting for you. You really, you want it to be your best photo. It should be your absolute best photo. And you might rotate through like one or two, maybe three different photos, different amenities, try different things depending on the season. But the front of the house is never your best photo. And if it is, you need to take a deeper look at what's going on with your Airbnb. So I can already tell, like I said, they have a pool. This isn't going to drive as many people as people looking for a pool. So I want to see the experience I'm going to have as a guest when I'm booking. A little tip too is Airbnb kind of feels like it forces you to categorize all your photos. I hate this. I don't do it with our listings, and so we just skip it. But the reason I don't like it is I see a pool here, so I click on the pool, and now I have to go find it. Obviously, it's up here, but I like to be able to click into the first photos and see that first photo right away. So just our personal belief. It's what works well for us. Okay, we'll just scroll through the photos quickly. I mean, they have a putting green, they have bags, they have outdoor games. Like this is a better photo. Fire pit, bikes, golf cart. All these things should be listed in the title. Okay. First thing first, before we get into their design. So they have some sweet amenities here. They have stuff that's actually going to drive traffic to their listing. Uh, the issue is like the amount of photos, honestly. So this is the only shot I see of a putting green, unless I missed it somewhere. I don't think I did. I've gone through these a couple times. This is their only shot of a putting green. And this is a differentiator item. Now, a lot of places in Scottsdale do have them. You know, we just did a whole 9-hole mini putt, but not everyone does. And so you want to be able to, what you always want to do with your listing is niche up, meaning you want to get to the top of the pyramid. You want to compete with the least amount of people as possible. Most people hang out at the bottom. But you niche up by having differentiator items. It can be design as well, but most of the time it is amenities. And you know, so like this place, they niche up by having a pool. They niche up by having a putting green. They niche up by having a golf cart. All these things they niche up into where they're competing with just the people that have those items. They installed them. They spent the money on them. They do not have good photos of them though. And what's the point? People are only looking at the photos. You need to sell the experience. You need to put golf clubs out there, golf balls, all of that. You need to stage it, get it ready to go. Same thing with the pool. Ideally, you throw some big floaties in here as well, just for the photo even. You can have regular ones for the guests, but for the stage photo, you should have floaties out there. And there really isn't a daytime shot of the pool as well. A lot of twilight shots, which I do like twilight shots, but they should be the extra shots. They shouldn't be the main shots. So yeah, there's no real daytime of the pool except for this, which isn't doing a whole lot for it either. You have a grill too. I mean, all these things can be mentioned in the title. But I imagine they took these photos themselves by the way it looks. And professional photography is one of the better ROIs you can get on a listing, especially if you do have a good listing. And this place is pretty good, especially amenity wise. They've stacked a lot of amenities. They've done a pretty decent job. They just need to, this should be the first photo either way. I don't know if I want the night shot. I almost feel like I'd rather have a day shot of this, but this should be the first photo. It's showing us a lot of amenities here in one shot. So that's a big thing that's hurting them right there. Of they have a nice place, but they're not showcasing it well. Let's get into the actual house. So I appreciate that they pulled a lot of the stuff out of the cabinets. They showed the pots and pans that are available. I wish they would open up some drawers in the kitchen too. Show spatulas, all the forks, spoons, knives, anything like that that people are going to need to cook with. They don't have anything showcasing that other than a knife and a cutting board. So you want to show what if people can make a meal. I have little kids, and I know I'm going to be at least making something at home, something quick. But I need to make sure I have some of the basics. Pots and pans are beneficial, but even just like a spatula and such. Spices, salt, pepper, any of that stuff should be showcased. There's just not enough pictures in general of this place. Like there isn't there isn't a zoomed out shot of the kitchen at all, unless it's somewhere at the end. No, there's no zoomed out shot of the room at all showing what the kitchen looks like, how big it is, anything. I like a shot of the sink, but it should be a straight on shot showing like you get a fresh sponge, which looks like they include, which I appreciate. Soaps, anything that's included there as well. This looks like the soap container you buy at the store. One little tip too is we put all of our soaps and shampoos in their own container that we just buy on Amazon. It looks a little classier, a little more like a boutique hotel. But yeah, really hard to even give much design about the kitchen when there's no picture of it. So onto the bedrooms. They are pretty basic, nothing crazy about them. One thing I will say is do white linens, guys. Do a nice fluffy looking comforter in here. If you want to add color, you can put a blanket at the bottom or anything like that. But you want white linens. You want that hotel feel. You want people to know that they're clean too. And plus, you can always bleach them. So white towels, white washcloths, white duvets, white pillowcases, white throughout. And add color everywhere else. Ideally, even walls, like we like to start white and then we add wallpaper, we add art, we add everything else around it as well. This room doesn't have the right amount of contrast. And again, it looks not like a professional photo either. But there should be a rug under the bed, there should be curtains on the wall, and those are the places you can add color, not the bed. Same thing with this. Curtains are going to add, not only are they going to feel more expensive, but for the guest experience, they're blackout. And they should be blackout when the ones you buy. And that's going to deliver a better guest experience too. They're going to be able to get better sleep because the room's completely blacked out. I understand these shutters can block a lot of the light. I actually have these in my personal home, but they don't block all of it, not the way curtains do. And plus, if you have these plus curtains, there's no light getting in. And so for someone like myself, that's what I want. If I'm getting woken up by the sun and I have a chance to sleep in, especially with little kids, I want to be able to take that opportunity. I do not want to be woken up by the sunlight outside, or maybe a light that's from a neighbor or anything like that. But again, rugs, curtains, white linens. There is, ideally too, there's more of some kind of accent wall of wallpaper, something in here. These lamps are way too small for this. Kind of all the lamps look a little too small. But again, white linens, these colors are not helping anything. This is where people get confused of adding contrast and color to their places. You put it in the wrong areas, it cheapens the space. Just the same reason why we don't, go around painting places pink and orange. You want to make it feel expensive, but also interesting to, our eyeballs. But curtains, rugs, same thing. White linens. The whole thing with the photos of the interior of any space is you're really selling to the guests that this is a dedicated short-term rental. It is not my personal home. I don't live there. Even if you do not want to sell that. No one wants to stay in a place that you live in. People used to think that years ago, and it might have been the case for a minute because Airbnb was new, but now they're looking for that boutique experience. They're looking for a place that they trust that everything works. They trust that it was professionally cleaned, and it's going to deliver a great stay. This setup right here, fantastic. This is a good photo. You got your makeup towels, makeup wipes, Q-tips, all the little extras. And this is what I'm talking about, like the individualized containers that you pour. We buy the big giant gallon jugs and then pour into these containers here. So, Again, this whole setup right here, not having white linens, the towel holders, the over the door holders here for this feels very like someone's home. And again, this isn't the message we want to deliver. The robes is a nice touch, but it would be much better if they were hung on the wall. Much better than this over the door situation. So, and that's like really it that they have on the interior. So they're missing probably 20 photos or so. They don't have a photo of the coffee station either. And I can see they have a coffee maker, but you want a photo of the coffee station showing coffee, sugar, creamer, any of those things that are included. And then you show all the soaps and shampoos. And then there's just some design items overall. This place could definitely use a design overall. It's a clean home, and it's not like overly cluttered or anything too crazy. It doesn't feel too mismatched or too empty, but it isn't screaming expensive. And the whole key is to feel expensive, even if it's champagne on a beer budget. We want to deliver that. The more expensive your place feels in the photos, the more people are willing to pay for it. And that's at the end of the day, we just want people to pay more for your places. You want it to get booked more often. And that's what we do. You should always cover all hooks with a towel too for photos. But yeah, some of these changes are super easy, super cheap. Most of them are just more photos. Would do this place a lot of justice. And they have an EV charger too. That should also be something in the title as well. Yeah, it's just very basic home. Again, there's going to be a lot of places that look like this. There's going to be a lot of places that look better than this. So if you want your place to make money, you have to differentiate it. You have to make it feel nicer than the rest of the places. You have to stack the amenities, not only have the amenities, but take the right photos of them. And you do all that the right way, your place can, like this place just tweaked, is going to do another 20, 30% more. You put white linens throughout, you take better photos of all the amenities. This place honestly does 15 to 20% more without actually changing the whole design. Change the whole design, you're probably looking at 40% bump. So that is it. Their description too is pretty solid. The main thing with descriptions is you just want bullet points. I'm not going to sit here and read through the actual description, but if there's anything about the place that is in here and you want people to actually read it, put it in bullet points. If you put paragraphs in here, no one is reading it, especially if you have stuff in here that is very specific or is going to cause issues or cause questions down the road. The one last thing too is I didn't see any kit items. So like a pack and play and a high chair. Obviously, if you wanted a few more little kit items too, that's beneficial. But people are, this place sleeps 6 guests. That's the perfect size for a small family. If I'm traveling and I'm like, this place looks fantastic, but I don't see a high chair and a pack and play, I'm not staying there. And I'm a good guest. I'm going to pay well. I'm going to take care of your place. Like you want me as a guest, but you're going to lose me because you don't have those items. Even if you do have them and they are in the description, I don't trust you. I need to see them in the photos. And so that's why I always say is take photos of everything you want people to know. With a pack and play and a high chair, like just open the high chair, scoot it up to the table, take a photo of it, fold it back up, put it in the closet. Same thing with pack and play, open it up in one of the bedrooms, take a photo of it, fold it back up, put it in the closet. So those are all ways to maximize your market and have less competition and be able to charge more and get more bookings. So Roxanne, I hope this place is going well for you. If you do come across this, like I said, reach out to us. Happy to have a much longer conversation about your place for free and try to help you out if we can. Guys, in the description, I do have a community if you want to see some of the courses on a lot of this information. You can also reach out to us for your own strategy call on your own Airbnb. The services we do offer are obviously design. We do a virtual design and we do a full service where we actually go out to the property, build it out completely turnkey. And then we also teach people how to manage. Since we come from the management side, we are very good at that as well. We still do manage quite a few properties, and we can essentially it's called Airbnb launch, get you completely up and going. Whether you've been doing it for 10 years or you're just starting, it doesn't really matter. You need the right software. You need property management software, and you need pricing software. We set those up for you. We integrate everything. We set up your pricing strategy, set up your automated messages, liability waivers, rental agreements, all of it done for you to make sure that you're protected. It's a little less work on you too overall in the long run, but you get more bookings at the end of the day too. So all that should be in the description below. Yeah, reach out if you guys have any other questions. I'll see you guys in the next one.